Welcome, fans, to Charlotte's very own Great American Bash. We're about to witness a taped fist match between Hands of Stone, Ronnie Garvin, and Tully Blanchard. 10 rounds of 3 minutes each. Marquis of Queensberry rules, well, sort of. Garvin's even brought the legendary Wahoo McDaniel to watch his back, presumably to counter whatever tricks Tully's manager J.J. Dillon has up his sleeve. This is going to be something else.
10 rounds or until one of these guys runs out of brain cells, whichever comes first. And Tony, let's be honest, they didn't tape up their fists for fashion. This is essentially a boxing match without gloves, because nothing says professional sport like two men punching each other with glorified electrical tape on their hands.
Indeed. The tape on the fists essentially turns their hands into blunt instruments, as if Garvin's fists needed any more help. And with Wahoo McDaniel in Garvin's corner and J.J. Dillon lurking for Tully, we have all the ingredients for chaos. Expect interference, gentlemen.
The atmosphere here is electric. The Charlotte crowd is rowdy and ready. I see fans on their feet already. Tully's strutting around the ring, radiating cockiness. He's jawing at Garvin, pointing at those taped fists like he's got some choice words. Tully comes over for some last-second trash talk, and wham! Garvin just decks Tully Blanchard before the bell even rings. Did you see that? One punch and Tully is down.
We haven't even started and Tully's down for a nap. Garvin hit him so hard I think Tully briefly traveled to a parallel universe. That right hand was like a freight train loaded with dynamite, over the top enough for a Schwarzenegger movie.
He's flat on his back staring at the stars, possibly seeing entire constellations. Technically, the match hasn't begun, so referee Tommy Young is in a pickle here. And look at J.J. Dillon. He's already in panic mode.
J.J. Dillon is scrambling into the ring with, is that a metal bucket? Yes! Dillon's got a bucket of water. And splash! He just dumped cold water all over Tully's face. Tully jolts up like he sat on a whoopee cushion. The man was out cold, and J.J. basically hit the reset button with a bucket. Talk about a slapstick revival.
Well, that's one way to wake up in the morning. Forget Folgers, a bucket of ice water to the face will do it. JJ's out here performing Looney Tunes style first aid. Next time, maybe he'll use an Acme anvil. Hey, whatever works. Tully looks like a dunked cat, but hey, he's conscious. Sorta.
Old school boxing corner techniques at their finest. When in doubt, douse the fighter. To his credit, Dillon likely prevented this match from ending before it even began. Tully's awake, albeit soaked and extremely confused. The ref's insisting we officially start this bout now. There's the bell, for real this time. And round one is underway.
Garvin charges out like he's double parked his car. He is all over Tully. As round one begins, Garvin's fists are flying, and boom! A huge right hand floors Tully immediately again. Blanchard goes down like he slipped on a banana peel.
Down goes Tully again. Is it deja vu, or has this match turned into a recurring nightmare for Mr. Blanchard? Ronnie, Hands of Stone Garvin is living up to his name. Those tape hands might as well be cinder blocks. If this were Rocky, the referee would have thrown in the towel by now, and Apollo Creed would be giving a eulogy.
Tully is in dire straits. That knockdown was so quick, I doubt Blanchard even knows which state he's in at the moment. The referee starts the count as Tully struggles up to his knees, blinking in surprise. The man's equilibrium is utterly shot.
The ref's up to a 4 count. Tully uses the ropes, pulling himself up at the count of 6. He's on spaghetti legs, wobbling like a newborn deer on a waxed floor. J.J. Dillon is screaming encouragement or possibly directions to the nearest exit. Tully's pride must be hurting almost as much as his jaw right now. Tully tries to fire back now. He's throwing punches in the corner, desperately trying to show some offense. Like, look at those jabs. Well, jabs might be generous. They're landing like wet noodles on Garvin's torso. Tully's swinging, but he looks absolutely out of it.
He's punching on instinct, Tony. Those shots have about as much effect as a gentle pat. I've seen retirees at the YMCA boxing class with better form. Tully's basically saying, please stay down, Ronnie, and Garvin's responding with, not a chance, pal. Blanchard's fighting on pure adrenaline and muscle memory. To his credit, he's at least keeping his gloves, or rather taped fists, up. But Garvin doesn't seem remotely fazed. Ron Garvin is just stalking Tully like a slasher in an 80s B-movie, waiting for the next big swing.
Garvin explodes out of the corner. Smack! Another colossal right hand to Tully's head. Down goes Blanchard again. That one might have knocked a few fillings loose. The referee is back on his feet, probably with a headache, and starts another standing 8 count for Tully. Blanchard is stirring somehow. He's pulled himself up by the ropes again at 8. How on earth is Tully still in this? The man's as stubborn as a mule and twice as punch drunk right now.
It's amazing he can stand. Tully's doing the big stumble, arms out, looking like me after trying my aunt's special recipe eggnog. He's wobbling to the neutral corner, eyes glazed, possibly seeing 3 Garvins, but he's on his feet, which in wrestling means, sure, let's continue.
The referee is back on his feet, probably with a headache, and starts another standing 8 count for Tully. Blanchard is stirring somehow. He's pulled himself up by the ropes again at 8. How on earth is Tully still in this? The man's as stubborn as a mule and twice as punch drunk right now. Ding ding, that's the bell ending round 1. Tully has miraculously lasted the round.
Garvin sneaks in an extra credit punch. Ronnie's basically saying, stay down, fool. The crowd loved that. They're roaring. These fans don't care about technicalities. They came to see Tully get decked. And Garvin is delivering in spades. It's not exactly sporting, but it's entertaining in a wild, bad action movie kind of way.
The referee is admonishing Garvin, but let's be real. Admonishments are not going to tame Ronnie Garvin tonight. Tully Blanchard is in serious trouble. J.J. Dillon is rushing into the ring to drag Tully back to the corner. They've got 1 minute to revive their man for round 2, if that's even possible.
In Tully's corner, it's like a scene out of Rocky. Dillon is frantically fanning Tully with a towel.
Desperate times, desperate measures. JJ's treating Tully like a 1920s boxer who just went 15 rounds with Jack Dempsey. What's next, a shot of whiskey and a pep talk about the old country? I have to expect Dillon to yell, "Get up, you bum!" in his best Burgess Meredith voice. Hey, if it works for Rocky Balboa, maybe it'll work for Tully. When in doubt, hug it out. Go for the legs. Tully must remember, oh yeah, I know some wrestling moves. It's not a bad idea. If Garvin's on the mat, he can't launch those haymakers. Tully is clinging to Garvin's leg like Garvin's his long-lost daddy. It's half single-leg takedown, half desperation ankle hug.
Blanchard wisely shifting gears here. Chop down the oak tree that is Ronnie Garvin. Take out his base. It's basic wrestling strategy. A man can't throw punches if he can't stand firmly. Tully is trying to turn a brawl into a grappling contest, and you can't blame him given how the stand-up fight went.
Garvin is hopping on one foot, trying to maintain balance as Tully twists that leg.
So much for Tully's momentum. That uppercut was ferocious, like something out of Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. Coming soon to a Nintendo near you. If Tully were Glass Joe, he'd be down for the count again. Actually, Tully is making Glass Joe look tough tonight.
Tully Blanchard is down once more, bracing himself on one knee and an outstretched arm. He is just drenched in sweat and blood. The man looks exhausted, and we're only in round 2. The ref begins the count again as Garvin paces in a neutral corner, cracking his taped knuckles confidently.
I bet Garvin's thinking about what he's going to have for dinner after this. He's so calm, maybe a nice steak, rare, like Tully's forehead. Meanwhile, Tully's trying to get up, and his legs are saying, nope. This poor guy's been knocked down more times than a weeble wobble.
There's the bell. Tully survives round 2 by the skin of his teeth. Saved by the bell, literally. He looks absolutely spent, gentlemen. That round was still all Garvin, aside from a brief glimmer of hope for Blanchard. 2 rounds in the books, and they've been as one-sided as a bad first date.
One fan's got a Garvin's gonna knock you out sign. It's not even a prediction at this point. It's a spoiler. If I were Dillon, I'd be thinking about calling the cab and throwing in the towel. But nope, Dillon's pumping Tully up like he's got Rocky Balboa in the corner. Newsflash, he's got the other guy from a Rocky movie, you know, the one who loses.
We have to credit Blanchard's toughness, misguided as it may be. He's endured an absurd amount of punishment. But unless they have some miracle strategy or a horseshoe to stick in Tully's glove, this won't last much longer.
Tully actually comes out with a burst of energy. He lunges at Garvin and sends Ronnie Garvin hard into the turnbuckles. Garvin hit the corner chest first with a thunderous crash, and he stumbles backward. Finally, a significant offensive move by Tully Blanchard.
Holy 180, Batman! Garvin actually hit something that wasn't Tully's face. That ring just shook on impact. Ronnie's probably wondering who moved the turnbuckle into his way. Give Tully credit, he used Garvin's own momentum against him. Classic bad guy 101, use the environment. Next, he'll drop a piano on him if he can.
The pendulum has swung, at least for the moment. Blanchard's aggression here is fueled by desperation. He knows he's behind on points, or would be if wrestling cared about points. Tully is digging deep into that vicious streak we all know he has.
And ding ding, there's the bell signaling the end of round 3. Saved by the bell again.
Tully looks like he's been through a war, or like an unlikely extra in a Chuck Norris bar fight scene. There's blood, sweat, water, and probably tears at this point.
Across the way, look at Garvin. He's standing tall, barely winded, with Wahoo giving him a pat on the back. Garvin's got that confident smirk, taped fists on hips, as if this is just another day at the office. It's like he's thinking, all right, I've toyed with this guy long enough. If I were in Blanchard's boots, I'd strongly consider staying down. But pride in the presence of thousands of fans will make a man do crazy things, like come out for another round of this beating.
The bell rings for round 4. Incredibly, Tully Blanchard is back in the ring. He's on his feet, but just barely. You can see him swaying. His face is a crimson mask, his legs are rubber, and I'm not sure he knows what year it is, yet here he is, hands up, ready, in theory, to continue. Garvin, by contrast, looks as fresh as one can be after 3 rounds of mayhem. Garvin just wallops him with another thunderous right hand to the jaw. Tully is out on his feet. He's somehow still standing, but his eyes are glazed over. I don't think his legs are even responding. The only thing keeping him upright is pure stubbornness and maybe the spirit of 1,000 boxing movie underdogs.
He looks like one of those inflatable punching clowns that wobble but won't fall down. Except I think he's about to fall down hard. This is brutal and bizarrely entertaining all at once. My popcorn's long gone and I'm on the edge of my seat. Garvin is practically holding Tully up now.
Garvin storms across the ring and unloads a barrage of punches. Left, right, left, combination to the body and a huge uppercut to the chin. Tully's head snaps back. Garvin is absolutely teeing off on Blanchard, who can barely raise his arms to defend. It's a ferocious onslaught by Ronnie Garvin.
Garvin is treating Tully like an arcade game that he's about to beat in one perfect combo. It's like the final boss fight in a cheesy action flick. Garvin's throwing every finishing move in the book. If this were a movie, Tully's stunt double would have tapped out by now. This is the over-the-top 1980s slugfest spectacle we were promised. Each punch from Garvin is finding its mark with surgical precision and sledgehammer force. Blanchard's head is snapping back and forth like a bobblehead on a bumpy road. I don't even know if Tully is conscious of where he is. He's on autopilot, and that plane is about to crash. You're right. Garvin literally just grabbed Tully by the throat with one hand, propping him against the ropes. This is almost merciful. Garvin's preventing him from collapsing just so he can deliver the coup de grace. A stiff uppercut from Garvin while holding Tully's neck. That's insult to injury. Tully's head just whipped back and his arms have gone limp.
Smash! Tully Blanchard just swung with those brass knuckles and clocked Ronnie Garvin flush on the jaw. Oh my goodness. Garvin's head snapped to the side and he drops like a ton of bricks. The crowd just gasped in unison. 1 second Garvin was dominating. The next he's flat on the canvas staring at the lights. This arena just flipped from jubilation to shock in a heartbeat.
I can't believe it. Tully pulled off the mother of all Hail Marys. That loaded punch was like something out of a bad Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. You know the part where the villain puts on a hidden weapon for the final blow? Garvin went down faster than a cassette tape fast-forwarding a love ballad. He's not moving. This is highway robbery happening live.
The momentum is completely reversed in the most nefarious way. Garvin is down and appears to be completely unconscious. Tully Blanchard, bloody mask and all, is on his knees, barely knowing where he is. But he had just enough devilish instinct to use that. This is the dark side of 1980s wrestling tropes, gentlemen. The crafty heel pulling victory from the jaws of defeat through dastardly means.
The crowd is on the verge of riot. They are booing their lungs out. Hats and popcorn are being flung toward the ring. They can't believe their hero Garvin is down. This is like if Darth Vader zapped Luke after Luke whooped him for an hour. It's a dirty, heartbreaking turn of events. I see some fans literally holding their heads in shock.
J.J. Dillon is on the floor pounding the mat, trying to will Blanchard up, but Tully's not responding. If Garvin gets up from this, I'd suspect he's part cyborg.
Tully is stirring, one hand twitching, but he's nowhere near getting up. 9, 10. That's it. The referee calls for the bell. Tully Blanchard has been counted out, knocked out cold in the 5th round. Ronnie Garvin wins this taped fist match by KO. Good Lord, what a turn of events.
Unbelievable. Ronnie Garvin, barely conscious and bleeding like a horror movie extra, just stole this match. Stole it like it was candy, and he's the proverbial baby. The crowd is wild, and I don't blame them. We just saw the wrestling equivalent of the hero hitting the villain with a cheap shot after a one-sided fight and then strutting around like he earned it. It's glorious in its awfulness.
A highly controversial ending, to put it mildly. Garvin had no conceivable path to victory through fair means, so Wahoo McDaniel and him created one through mud in your eye.